It's a new year, and 2026 will be a huge year for movies. But why don't we look ahead and do an early box office prediction at how much money the 20 biggest blockbusters of this year will make. All of the movies will be ranked on this chart, and hey, we can look back in a year and see how badly this video will age. Thanks to 3C Films and Sean Chandler Talks About for the idea, and shout out to Bickham Productions. I will not elaborate further. With Sony's recent track record, I think this movie will do fine enough. The story is a little formulaic, the humor isn't really landing with me, but the animation style is unique. And at the end of the day, it's an animal animated movie. It'll do fine. Probably mostly domestic because of its connection to the NBA, so I predict that it'll make $200 to $299 million. An original Pixar movie is generally 50-50. It could be a huge success, or it could be a huge flop. I predict that it'll land somewhere in the middle. It'll have a similar domestic performance to GOAT, but it will be stronger internationally. The trailers look fine, and Pixar seems to be marketing this more than they did for Elio, so I predict it'll land somewhere in the $300 to $499 million range. It'll make enough to break even. Project Hail Mary is based on the critically acclaimed novel of the same name and is directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the same directors of the greatest movie of all time, The Lego Movie. That wasn't a joke. This is my second most anticipated movie of the year. They worked closely with the original writer of the novel and it looks incredible. As soon as I saw the trailer, I knew I had to read the novel, and it is very good so far. All in all, I think the movie will make $300 to $499 million. As great as I think the movie will be, I think it'll be hurt by its competition. This is that competition. I think this one will be bigger than the first. Both of them are basically fan service the movie for Mario fans, and are still very enjoyable for casual viewers as well. This is definitely more action than you'd expect for an Illumination movie, and that should help it even more. This movie will easily make $1 billion. This movie could be really good or really bad. There is no in between. This is a biopic of the rise of the man in the mirror, the moonwalker, the king of pop. I just gave you 3 better titles than Michael. What kind of title is that? But whether this movie is good or bad, it's basically guaranteed to be extremely profitable. Therefore, I predict it'll make over $1 billion. They really made a mistake not releasing it in October. The hype was already there, and they might have killed it off a little by delaying it 7 months due to competition. What competition? But who knows, maybe they can rebuild some hype. And for that, I predict it'll make $200 to $299 million. What happened to Star Wars, man? They used to be a sign of guaranteed success, and now I think this will be one of the lowest grossing movies of the franchise. This is a movie for people who have seen The Mandalorian on Disney+, and even they're saying the movie looks bland, which I can agree with. I literally felt nothing watching that trailer. But I still predict that it'll make $300 to $499 million. It'll still be a profit, but at the same time, slightly disappointing for being a continuation to one of Disney Plus's biggest shows. If I made this video a month ago, I probably would have put this in the under $200 million range. Even though Steven Spielberg is directing this movie, it no longer guarantees success. But after that trailer dropped, oh boy, after that trailer, this movie has some serious potential. The sci-fi genre, the mysterious, unsettling tone, Emily Blunt as a soda can, it's all very intriguing. This will very clearly be a very unique movie to release this summer. And for that reason, I predict it'll land somewhere in the $300 to $499 million range. Well, it's another Toy Story movie. And it's gonna make $1 billion. We all know Toy Story should have stopped at the 3rd movie, yet here we are. It seems like Pixar just doesn't know how to leave these movies alone. Every movie's made more than the last, and I just don't understand why. Anyway, I'll be there opening day. This movie will do fine, and fine is as far as it's gonna get. In no way does this look like a bad movie, it actually looks decent, but I feel it'll fail to get people as hyped as they were for Superman. Plus, it'll be sandwiched between 2 movies that will undoubtedly do really well. but that doesn't mean it'll flop. I predict that it'll make $500 to $749 million. More specifically, somewhere between $500 and $550 million. How do these movies constantly succeed? After the first Despicable Me, the other 5 movies have made more than $900 million each. Illumination has found a money glitch and they are not letting it go. I predict that it'll make $750 to $999 million because so many people are gonna show up for this, but I will not. Unless the Gentle Minion meme gets started again. Come on guys, let's do it again! Not even 10 full years and we already have a live-action Moana movie. As much as I want to say that this movie will crash and burn and convince Disney that we don't want these anymore, I predict it'll make somewhere between $500 and $749 million. Somehow, these just keep making money. Just look at last year's Lilo and Stitch. People will show up for these as long as they're not riddled with controversies. Snow White. Christopher Nolan. That's all people needed to hear, and they bought tickets. No, seriously, this movie sold tickets while they were still filming it a year before release. This man has too much power! With the director's name, an intriguing premise, and an absolutely stacked cast, I think this movie will very easily make $750 to $999 million. It won't make $1 billion, but it'll get close. Spider-Man is just one of those brands that guarantees success. He's literally one of the biggest superheroes of all time, and after No Way Home, I think plenty of people, myself included, are excited for the next movie. This will be Tom Holland's first movie as a classic Spider-Man after a long back and forth on whether it would be multiversal or street level. Without a doubt, I predict this will make $1 billion. For a movie that got completed, cancelled, uncancelled, shopped around, cancelled again, uncancelled again, shopped around again, then purchased by Ketchup Entertainment after fans had protested for its release multiple times, no one's really talking about this one. I look forward to it and I think it'll be fun, but I think this may be a case where internet hype doesn't translate to ticket sales, so I predict it'll make slightly under $200 million. James Gunn, I hope you know what you're doing because this is a weird choice for your third movie in the DCU. This should have been your Wonder Woman or Batman movie. But a Clayface movie? With this being a body horror movie, I think this will alienate a nice amount of their audience. But due to its low budget, it'll still be profitable. I predict it'll make between $200 and $299 million. The first 4 Hunger Game movies were very successful, and after the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, they knew their audience was still there. So much to the point that they worked with the original author as the book they were adapting was still being written. I think the Hunger Games fans of the last one will still show up for this one, so I predict it'll have a similar performance of the last movie of $300 to $499 million. Somehow, these movies do really well. I mean, I knew they'd make some money, but almost $1 billion both times? I see these as your kind of fast food movies. They're no masterpiece, but they're enjoyable to have once in a while. I do think this movie will be the lowest grossing of the trilogy due to its competition the following week, but I still think it'll make anywhere from $500 to $749 million. Releasing the same day as another blockbuster, I still think it'll do very well. The first and second movie were both box office successes and were both met with critical acclaim. This one will be based on the book Dune Messiah, which I have heard great things about. Can you tell that I haven't seen the Dune movies? I predict that it'll do better than the second movie and make $750 to $999 million. The Doomsday hype around it should give it a nice boost. Speaking of Doomsday, this is going to be the movie of the year. Even Marvel knows that. They're releasing several trailers almost a year out. We have the Avengers, the new Avengers, the Wakandans, the Fantastic Four, the original X-Men, and Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. The hype is real. I mean, you should want to watch this movie just to see how they're going to pull off having 30 main characters. And I know people are going to say it's a bunch of nostalgia bait and we're all falling for it. Well, let me tell you something. You are absolutely right. And I do not care. I will be there opening night, and I will be hyped all the way up to its release. I think a lot of people feel the same, therefore this will be an easy $1 billion. But if this movie's bad... if this movie isn't peak cinema... Marvel, don't mess this up! There we have it, the full list. If there's any blockbusters I forgot to mention, leave a comment below and I'll respond to it with my prediction. And make sure to comment your top 5 most anticipated movies of 2026. Here's mine. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.